Good morning. We're moving on for today. We have the one and only ripe pod I got from my, as you can see, it's still got a little green on it. It's my Jamaican hot chocolate habanero. I've gotten mostly ripe here, but it's getting a little gross here at the top, so we're going to cut that part off. This is all spicy stuff, baby. We're not playing with that. So I'm going to don the gloves here to cut it open and see if there's any seeds in it that I can harvest.
Yum, yum, yum.
That's spicy. Don't touch.
Pecans.
I don't know if any of those are viable. Well, we'll see. This is the only pod I got this year. So I like to give the next generation of seeds, if only just a few. Okay, so here I'll use my knife as a pointer here. You see that the placental tissue is nice and brown. I'm not sure how much of that is capsaicin and how much of it is coloring, but I remember these being pretty hot last year, hotter than a habanero, so. Okay. Let's cut it on down the side here and see what we can find out. Smells very habish. I remember it tasting a little more naga-like when I grew them when I ate that one last year. I didn't grow them last year. So here we go, Jamaican hot chocolate. It's a beautiful looking pod on the inside, nice and glossy still. I'm surprised that it's, considering how old it is. Okay, here we go. Not more of a habanero flavor this time around, maybe it's because it's not fully ripe. Tons of drool. Oh, hit me in the throat. Oh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all that brown in the placental tissue is capsaicin. Whoa. Lips are getting hit a little bit, but tons of heat in the throat. Face is flushing. Top of my tongue is just whoop. Tongue is starting to feel a little swollen, mostly on the top of the tongue and into the throat. Underside of the tongue's got a sharp little coal happening right here. Where for the mouth it's kind of goes and it recedes and then goes and then back down. Multi-phase burn. Starting to wrap over my entire tongue now. That's a really good strong burn. Drool's calmed down a little bit, but
be gentle.
kind of moving back more onto the back of the tongue. Where those two little, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. There's two little nodes on the back of your tongue, one on either side. Way at the back there, little nubs that are poking up. So kind of back towards there, and it's reaching a tickly type status. Really strong, encapsulating warmth in my whole throat here. Stinging down low, but overall it's pretty even. Back of the tongue, sides of the tongue are kind of focusing more. Underside of the tongue's picked up more than the top. Roof of the mouth is got that traditional habanero sting to it, where it's almost numb. Yeah, definitely didn't have as tart of a flavor as a regular habanero. They tasted a lot more naga-like last year when I had them. They didn't really taste much like a regular habanero. Perhaps my sense of taste has been refined since then. All the ones I've tried since that time helped me lock more firmly in place my perception of the taste of the Trinidad and Naga families, because those do have a more distinct taste than habaneros, and Jamaican hot chocolate is closely related to the habanero, so that would make sense why it would taste more like a habanero. But I do remember them having more of a Naga flavor last year. I watched my video recently for that, and once I watched it, I started clicking in place, remembering what the flavor was, and it did have a much different flavor. But I guess, like I said, now that I have more experience differentiating the Naga family, etc., because I've had the 7-Pot Brown, those crosses, more scorpions, and a bunch of others in that family, peach butt, white butt. That flavor profile is a little more familiar to me than it was at the time that I filmed that other one. So, anyway, heat settling into a nice level here on the top of the tongue. Lips are glowing. Underneath the tongue is actually calmed down a bit now, and the top of the tongue's coming forward a lot more. It's weird, in like a minute and a half since I noticed that the tongue was picking up more. Glow is settling down low. And yeah, they're pretty decent mid-level heat now. It's calmed down. That was really to begin with, but not unmanageable. Obviously, if I'm only eating like half or so of the pod with ones like this, that I'm not gonna get the full brunt of it, but is definitely really hot. I'd put them definitely a little bit hotter than a habanero. 350,000, somewhere around that 350,000 mark. I've had habaneros that are pretty stinging though, and some that are kind of timid. So they do have a pretty wide range, 100,000 to 300 and some thousand. So that's a pretty wide variance. I mean, proportionate to their heat level, I guess it's not. Like jalapenos are 2,500 to 8,000, so that's about the same proportion gap. But as far as the actual number of Scoville units, the habaneros have a wider variance. Nature of the beast, I guess. So, yeah, Jamaican hot chocolate habanero. We'll hopefully get some viable seeds from that. I'm going to throw this one in the dehydrator, or leave it out. Maybe even it's dry enough now in November, end of November here, to where I don't need to worry about them getting moldy. And yeah, good stuff. Sorry about that. Yeah. Really solid upper level heat. Well, I'd definitely say mid compared to a lot of the ones I've had now, but upper level heat, I put it in the upper tier, that's for sure. Really nice habanero-like flavor, but a little bit more, not quite as tart, so dimmer in that respect, but it still had that rich habanero flavor. Not really the musky note like the orange ones have. A little bit more fruitish, per se. Kind of sweet, but not sugary sweet. My annuums tend to be a lot more sugary sweet than the Chinense varieties, although the Bikino is an exception to that one. But yeah, cool, good one. Thanks for bearing with me for about 10.5 minutes here. I'll see you around with the next review.